Yeah.
HBK, Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid,
96.
88.
What the Bro. What? That is the worst one so far.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mark Izzo, and I am the host of the Burning Hammer podcast. And to your right, that's Dillon O'Brien, and he stands 6 feet 3 inches tall. And you can't teach that. Drink it in, man.
Thank you.
I combined a little Paul Heyman with a big Cass and Enzo, ended on Chris Jericho. Bet you didn't think I could do it, but I did.
But he did.
I did do
exactly.
it. Yeah, so we have a pretty good episode lined up for the Burning Hammer faithfuls. We're going to talk about some new WWE 2K23 ratings. We're going to get into Brock Lesnar taking on Omos, and we are going to get into the women's tag title picture. But before we do, make sure to follow us on social media. On Twitter, you can follow the Burning Hammer at The Burnt Hammer. On Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, we are at The Burning Hammer. Make sure to follow us on Twitch. We are starting to live stream at The Burning Hammer Podcast. If you're listening via audio streaming service, thank you. Make sure to follow and subscribe and leave us a review. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. We are available wherever you listen to podcasts. And make sure to follow Vendetta Sports Media on their socials. On Twitter, they are at Vendetta VSM. On Instagram and TikTok at Vendetta Sports Media. And check out vendettasportsmedia.com for all of your sports needs. They cover pretty much every single sport, along with gaming, TV, and movies. So check out vendettasportsmedia.com. And speaking of games, we are going to get into some WWE 2K23 ratings. But actually, before we do that, I asked a question on... Well, I wanted you guys to ask us a question on our social media. That's why you got to make sure to follow us on social media. And we got one from our boy, Billy. So shout out to Billy. You can follow Billy on Instagram and Twitter at Billy in Purple. He runs Purple Clothing, and you can follow them on Instagram at purple.archives, or you can visit purple2023.com. They're a really good clothing company. I'm actually wearing a crew neck right now, and they donate 25% of all of their profits to different charities. So make sure to go show them some love. But his question is, what do we think is the better show, Raw or SmackDown? Dillon, why don't you kick us off here?
Yeah, so I think the answer on the surface is probably easier than surface wise. I feel like it seems easier than it actually is, but I think going into it, you'd probably have to say SmackDown. Just because a few things specifically, it's 2 hours versus 3 hours, so it just automatically feels everything that happens feels a little bit more important. You know what I mean? They can't do as much on each show. There's less bathroom break matches, as one would say. So that's kind of like one of the bigger things looking into it, is since Raw gets all the complaints about it being 3 hours. And SmackDown has just been I mean, SmackDown's got a really good roster right now. They've got Roman has just been pretty much the best thing in wrestling for the past couple of years. So it's hard to argue that he would not be whatever show he's on would not be the flagship show. And you know, they have both tag team titles pretty much And now that, over the last few months, they've been showing up, and since he won both titles, him and the Usos and the Bloodline have showed up on Raw here and there, and obviously it's happening more frequently now that we're getting closer to WrestleMania. Ooh, sorry. Um, yeah, man. I feel like I'm trying to find myself reasons to say Raw because of how much I love seeing Cody Rhodes on a weekly basis and Seth Rollins on a weekly basis. Um, yeah, but I'm gonna have to go with SmackDown.
Yeah, I'm going to completely agree because I think SmackDown, one, it being 2 hours really does help it out a lot. Like, I would like to see the number of people that watch Raw from start to finish because I feel like it can't be that many. I know I did it once recently, and man, it feels like a long show. Plus, they have a lot of unique acts on SmackDown currently. They got Bray Wyatt, like you said, they got Roman, they got LA Knight. They pretty much have the entire bloodline over there. Sammy and KO are sort of go between shows now, but you got Rey Mysterio, you got Karrion Cross, you got the Brawling Brutes, you got Drew. I think if they turned Raw to a 2 hour show and they really showcase some different types of talent there, I think that it could become their flagship show yet again. But I think they're closer than people think, and I would give the edge to SmackDown. I will say
Yeah.
I get more excited for SmackDown than Raw every week.
Um, that's the other thing I want to say is I think they're closer than people realize. I think the biggest Raw still probably does bigger numbers. Um, but that's just because it's Raw and it probably is always gonna do bigger numbers. Um, and Monday night's just a better night for cable television than Friday night. It just is. But I don't know, man. Like I do think it's closer than people realize. I do think with it being three, I mean, the fact that there has basically been only two championships on Raw for the past like 6 months, um, all things considered, they've done pretty well at at keeping it somewhat interesting enough to get everybody viewing because they only have two championships. Like they only have a Raw Women's Championship and a United States title right now. Um, so that's a big part of it that I think is like easy to kind of just forget, but it really is a big part of it. Like they don't have a world champion. Like and
Yeah, and
that's a
it's
huge part. Like
And it's just because, like, they have the stars on the show. Like, they got Seth, they got Cody, they got Bianca, they got Becky, they got Bailey, they got Damage Control. Now they're probably gonna have the women's tag titles solely on Raw. So they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of top stars in the company, but it's just that 3 hours, man. They got to get it down somehow. I don't know how easy it is. I'm sure there's like a lot of things that would go into it, but I think a big change that would really benefit WWE as a whole would be to get Monday Night Raw down to 2 hours. So there you have it. We both think SmackDown is the better show. Let us know, what do you think is the better show, Raw or SmackDown? So let's get into these some new WWE 2K23 ratings. You know, last week we talked about a bunch of them, um, about how some of them were disrespectful, and we're gonna get into some more disrespectful ones before they've been adjusted a little bit. These are the like official ratings from WWE's website. Last week we got them off just like a journalist site. So we're going to start with NXT, just a couple of people on NXT. So basically, NXT, everyone's either high 60s to low 80s. And I think it's tough to sort of rate NXT wrestlers because you're trying to make them be the next generation of superstars. So you don't want to have them be too low, but it's also like it is their developmental system. Like the whole thing is they're not on the main roster, so they really shouldn't be super high as well. So it's sort of a thin line to sort of go walk on. But the two highest NXT rated wrestlers is Braun Breaker, which makes sense. He's at an 85, and Ilya Dragunov is also at an 85. Now, I've got a list of some notable people that these guys are ahead of. So they're ahead of Solo Sikoa, 82, Santos Escobar, 81, Sami Zayn, 84, Ricochet, 82, LA Knight, 81, Austin Theory, 82, Damian Priest, 84, Dolph Ziggler, 83, Johnny Gargano, 84. The Miz is at an 85 as well, and Tommaso Ciampa is at an 84. Dill, how do you feel about Braun and Ilya being ahead of some of those guys on the list?
Where are they, like, how are they, what is their scale that they're deciding these rankings on? Because it's just confusing. Like,
Yeah,
what are they,
could not tell you.
like, Sami Zayn's probably your biggest babyface in the company right now next to Cody Rhodes. And he's an 84. Like, I don't, he was
And
just in the main,
I'll say
I
this
don't,
too. They can easily adjust them, which they did already adjust one person, which we'll get into in a little bit. But right now on the surface, I mean, they're ahead of some guys that won some gold on the main roster. Austin Theory is the current U.S. champion. You know, Damian Priest, former U.S. champion. Dolph Ziggler's like flirting with WWE legends. He had one of the greatest Money in the Bank cash-ins of all time. You know, I think Gargano at an 84 is pretty good for him, but I don't think Braun or Ilya should be higher than him. The Miz, 85. You're telling me Braun Breaker and Ilya Dragunov are the same rating as The Miz? I know we talked about it last week, but they need to put some respect on The Miz's name. You know, like you said, Sami Zayn,
where
84.
is my moment? That's the greatest promo ever, bro. I will
Yeah.
never stop talking about it.
Ricochet, 82, former Intercontinental Champion. Like Santos Escobar, he's next up. Him at an 81 seems a little disrespectful as well. LA Knight, I'm
81
sure
is
they're
low.
LA Knight's also at an 81. I think Ciampa being at an 84 is pretty good. Again,
I'm
I would have
getting,
liked to see him higher than Braun and Ilya just because they're in NXT. Like, and these are guys who've
that's what I'm
had success
saying.
in NXT.
Like, they, yeah, like, I don't, how does that make any sense? Like, Johnny Gargano has won every title in NXT, and he's lower than Braun Breaker. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Sami Zayn's a former NXT champion. So many people are former NXT champions. Um, it's just weird. I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, let's move into some celebrities. So right now, there's only two celebrities announced: Bad Bunny and Logan Paul. I was interested to see what they were gonna rate Logan Paul at, and they're both at an 84, which means they're higher than Solo Sikoa. They're higher than Santos Escobar. They're the same as Sami Zayn. They're higher than Ricochet, LA Knight, Austin Theory, Dolph Ziggler, and they're the same as Ciampa and Gargano, and they are one rating below The Miz. I think celebrities are tough because you don't want them to just go in and be a dud, but I mean, you also have to be realistic. Like, they're celebrities. They're like as good as Logan has been. He's only wrestled a handful of matches. So I think again, the biggest thing I've taken away from this, I'm more annoyed with who's ahead of who in contrast to like the actual rating.
Yeah,
Like
then the
I don't
actual
mind
number
Logan
itself.
being an 84, but it's the guys who he's above or he's equal to is what the
Exactly.
issue is.
It's like
So
he's
I want
above
that
Rey
to be like,
Mysterio.
well, they adjusted Ray's rating, thankfully.
To what?
All right, so then we'll get into some main roster
Okay, yeah.
people. So Charlotte Flair's at a 94. That's what we thought she would be at last week, which I think is fitting. You could argue it's maybe one or two low. Um, Most decorated women's wrestler of all time. I think she probably could be a
She lower
96
than
or
Becky.
97. Yeah, by two.
Yeah, I think her and Becky should probably be around the same.
Yeah. And
But
so
it's whatever. I'm not that mad at it.
They adjusted Ray's to an 86, which I still think
Still
is
too
too
fucking
low.
low, bro.
Way
Still
too
way
low.
too fucking low. He
Like,
needs to be in the 90s.
he should
Like,
be
that
at
shit is
least like a 93. Like,
bro, that
once
shit is fucking chopped, bro. He's the greatest luchador of all time, top 20 wrestler of all time. Like fucking this shit is crazy, bro. That I still can't get over that one. The fact that they started him out at an 82 is fucking insane.
yeah, it's bad. And so here's a weird one. Elias, we said was a 7. Elias is a 78. I think that's what he was last week. But Ezekiel, what do you think Ezekiel is?
Like 77 or something.
Ezekiel's an 83.
How is he better than Elias?
I don't know how that makes much sense. I'm just confused by that. I don't know how he's 5 points better than Elias. But I don't know. Who cares? It's just weird. Sami Zayn being an 84, I think that's low. The guy just faced Roman Reigns
Yeah,
in the main event.
89. 89
Um,
for Sami Zayn.
yeah, he should definitely be high 80s. Again, that's something they can adjust, and I assume that they will adjust for sure. But here's one that I think is absolutely insane: is Ronda Rousey is a 93, which means the only female wrestlers that are higher than her in the game is Charlotte Flair, Bianca, and Becky. That's crazy. She's higher than
Yeah.
Asuka. She's higher than Rhea. She's higher than Bailey. Like,
Yeah, those three women alone should be higher than her based off the fact that like she just lost the SmackDown Women's Championship on a random episode of SmackDown. Rhea Ripley won the Royal Rumble. Asuka won the Elimination Chamber. Yeah, I mean they should just be higher than her. I understand that it's like you can't actually be like give Ronda Rousey like a fucking 77 because that's actually what she is like ranked in the ring probably.
yeah,
Like I understand you can't do that, but like I said, I'm not even mad at them putting her with a 93 because I understand like they need like there's characters they need to push, you know what I mean? And there's like certain things like we can't go all based off like the pure in-ring talent and judge it like that. But like you said, Mark, when it just comes down to it, like um the way and where these people are like tiered out at is just really weird. Like Ronda should not be above Bailey, Asuka, or Rhea. And she just shouldn't.
yeah. It's really simple as that. So, um, Shinsuke's at an 87. I think that's makes sense right around. You could probably argue get him to an 88 or an 89. Um, but I'm definitely not mad at him being an 87.
No, like what but like where does that come from? Where does Shinsuke, who hasn't been on TV for like 8 months, at an 87, which like I said, not mad at. I could even argue you could probably make Shinsuke an 88 or an 89. Um, but like, where does that come from? And then you
Ah,
rank Sami Zayn an 84 and Austin Theory an 82 and Rey Mysterio an 82 or like
yeah. Um, I don't know.
just weird, bro. Like I don't
um,
like it seems like they like it feels like they like split up the wrestlers into like groups and like gave a different like random like list of names to like different groups of people and they all like decided the ratings like without talking to each other.
yeah.
Doesn't that kind of what it feels like?
Yeah. Um,
It's
it
like
does.
just
Yeah.
like
No, that
oh
makes
like
sense.
yeah, you're like, oh, objectively, like I guess like an 86 Rey Mysterio is not that bad, and then you just like go over to the next one, and you're like, Ronda Rousey's a 93, like
Yes.
what?
I mean,
Yeah,
it's like you said. It's like, all right, so you get these 3 people, and then this other person will
yeah,
get these 3 people, but like no one knows like the
yeah,
parameters
but
in
no
which
one's
to
allowed
like.
to talk about it. That's what it
Yeah.
feels like.
Um. So yeah, I mean, I'm fine with Shinsuke being an 87. Again, it's just like other people also. Um, I don't know how they judge these people, if it's their WWE career or their entire wrestling career.
Is there any more new ones?
Yeah, so they bumped Rhea up to a 90.
I did see that, which
Um,
that was cool. She should be
yeah,
90.
yeah, I think a 90 is pretty good for Rhea. Um, so then we have a few of the active legends, and then we'll get into a couple of the like legends that don't wrestle anymore. So Randy's a 93. Edge is a 93. John Cena, 94.
Yeah, man. It's low. It's low
That's
for
a
the Cena.
miss. That's a miss if
Low
I've
for
ever seen one.
low for the leader of the C Nation. Yeah, what do we got? We got Taker at a 95, right?
Yes, Taker's at a 95.
Yeah, so dude, as far as I'm concerned, like Taker is the only wrestler who should have a higher rating than John Cena.
Well, and we talked
Or
about
like
it last
Roman
week.
Reigns currently. Like Dwayne is a 96, bro. Dwayne. We haven't seen the guy for 10 years, dude. Like I don't
Yeah.
like what are we doing? I understand it's like a legend, he's the Rock. It's not like it's not like we're talking about some random schmuck here who's like the heart and soul of wrestling marks, and like we're trying to like really get this like former indie star into like his like stardom that he deserves. Like we're talking about John Cena here, man. We're talking about John Cena. Like
And we talked
this
about
isn't
it. We talked about it
like
last week too. We said anything lower than a 98 is just disrespectful. And I didn't think, like, I thought, okay, maybe a 97 at the lowest they would give him, but a 94? Like, the guy's on the cover of
94
the
is low.
game. What are we doing?
Yeah,
He's
and
the
the guy he also so who has the highest rating? Dwayne?
um. So I'll get in. So Brock Lesnar, what do you think Lesnar's at?
Bro. 95.
Lesnar's at a 97.
That's fucking nuts,
That's
bro.
absurd. That's a little high.
Yeah,
That's
they're
high.
saying he's the best ever. They just made him higher than The Undertaker and The Rock.
And so Roman Reigns is a 99, which that's the only one they got right. They got Roman at a
Okay.
99 is correct. But we'll wait until we get into some legends because I think they've really fucked the legends up big time. So I think Lesnar being 3 spots higher than Randy, then Edge, then Cena is absurd. Like, it's
That's
insane to
fucking
me.
crazy.
Like, Lesnar being a 97 seems a little high. I don't know if he should be that much higher than those people that I just named, which is like,
No, it should be like it should probably be like as much as I would love to put or as much as I would love to put Lesnar not as much as I would love to put Orton and Edge ranked higher than Lesnar, I understand putting Lesnar ranked higher than them.
yeah, but it's also just like by
No,
4 points, like
no, by 4 points
that's the
is way too
problem.
much.
Like, I
So
think
it really probably should be like Randy and Edge at a 94 probably.
I would put him at like a 95. Put
So
Brock at like a 96.
so in my head I was like, yeah, let's say that like Randy and Edge are 95s, and then Brock would be a 96, and then Taker and
Taker should
Taker
be a
and
97.
Taker and Rock are both 97s. Cena's a 98, Roman's a 99. That's how it should be.
Yeah. And so let's get into some of these legends because this is where, at least in my opinion, this is where things get a little spicy. So Cactus Jack, 82.
Damn, that's low. That is low for Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Very
give
low.
them the benefit of the doubt Do we have any other Mick Foley characters on there, or is it just Cactus
Not
Jack?
announced. Right now, it's just
Okay,
Cactus Jack.
so I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna say that Mankind and Mick Foley are going to be ranked much better than Cactus Jack.
Where do you think Dude Love is gonna be at? Like a fucking 77.
No, it's
You
weird
think
if
Dude
that's what
Love's
they're
gonna
gonna.
be higher than Cactus Jack?
No,
Oh.
Mankind and Mick Foley will though.
Mick Foley will definitely, yeah, I think they will.
Well,
Um,
Mankind and Mick Foley are like those are like his like real
yeah.
like those are like his characters. Um,
And all right, so here's another one. Rowdy Roddy Piper.
he's never won the WWE title. I'm gonna go with 86.
85.
Mm.
I thought that
Still
was a little
probably.
low.
I think
A little low.
it's a little low. It's a little low.
Well, especially maybe
Not
once we get to
crazy.
some other names.
Yeah, not the worst, but a little low.
All right. Andre the Giant. Biggest man
It's
like ever.
Andre, dude. It's got to be a 90, 97, 98.
Andre the Giant is at an 88.
Bro, it's Andre.
Bro, what the fuck? Andre the Giant's at an 88?
Bro, it's Andre. Like, it's Andre the
What are we
Giant.
doing?
The guy's name is literally.
Braun Strowman ahead of him.
The guy's name is the Giant. Like, what are we talking about? That's fucking crazy. He should be in the 90s. He should be in the 90s. Like,
yeah.
Anything lower than a 95 is probably a little bit
It's bad.
Yeah.
HBK, Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid.
96.
88.
What the Bro. What? That is the worst one so far. That is the worst one. That's the worst one.
Well,
Shawn Michaels might be the best wrestler to ever step foot in a ring. As far as like in-ring skill, like showmanship, like easily top 5 ever. As far as just pure in-ring talent goes, like easily one of the greatest of all time. That's fucking low as shit. That is insane.
What if I told you Booker T also had an 88?
That's also fucking crazy. So Booker T and Shawn Michaels have the same rating.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane. I love Book, but he's like Shawn Michaels is literally Mr. WrestleMania. He's literally Mr. WrestleMania. Like what?
Yeah, and
that's fucking bad. That might be the worst one out of any of them so far.
Well, and I thought what also is pretty cool is they have the Ruthless Aggression pack. So they have some Ruthless Aggression, like old school like Randy and Brock and prototype Cena and like old school Batista, which was pretty
Can you do like Thugonomics Cena and shit?
I think so.
That'd be dope.
So, all right. What do you think JBL?
87?
89.
A little high.
I mean, he's higher than HBK and Andre the Giant?
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Not okay at all, actually. Yeah, bro, that's fucking bad.
Well, Goldberg and Batista are both 89s as well. That's not okay.
Bad. I don't really give a shit about Goldberg.
Bad.
Goldberg. I got beef with Goldberg, bro. Goldberg is like literally such a fucking scrub, bro. He's a fucking like bro, the fact that like dude, Goldberg would literally get booed out of the like if they tried to debut Goldberg now, he would literally get booed out of the fucking stadium immediately on the first night.
Yeah. It's
And he just openly talked about how he doesn't like wrestling, like, the entire fucking time he was a wrestler.
well,
And it's
and
just
did you
like,
see his recent quote? They were like talking about him with like retiring, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm like done with my obligated matches for WWE, but I signed a deal with the devil, so I deserve a retirement match." So he just like kind of wants a retirement match in WWE. Uh
um,
no,
sure,
no,
sure, come
no,
lose. Come lose to Austin Theory.
bro. Him
Come
fucking
lose
beating
to
the
Sami
Fiend
Zayn.
was his retirement match. Like, fuck off, bro. Come on. What are
Yeah,
we doing
bro.
here? I think Batista in 89's like he should be like a I mean, it's bad.
93
It's
for
bad.
Batista, probably. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
All right. Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero, both at a 90.
I was gonna say 91 or 92. They both should be higher though.
Yeah, I think they should be a little higher.
That one I'm not as mad about. I think they should both be like 91s at least though. Um, bro, JBL above Shawn Michaels and Andre the Giant is fucking insane.
Yeah. Um. Oh, okay. Here's one I forgot about. Um. ECW legend Rob Van Dam. What do you think he's at?
88.
RVD. And this is coming from Philly guys. RVD is at a 92.
All right, I'll take it. Love it. I'll take the RVD at a 92. He deserves it. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. Little crazy that RVD is ranked higher than Shawn Michaels, Batista, you know, some of
Eddie,
these guys.
Kurt Angle.
Eddie, Kurt Angle.
And again,
Really,
and again. This is not us saying him being at a 92 is bad.
not a slight at RVD.
He should not be higher than those guys. Like, we love RVD, bro. But like he shouldn't be higher than those guys.
Yeah, well, do love RVD though. Good for RVD. That's one of the ratings I haven't been like upset about. That's actually one of the ones where it was like oh, I thought they were gonna give him way less, and they actually gave him the credit he deserves.
Well,
Like,
what if I
former
told
WWE
you
champ.
What if I told you Bret the Hitman Hart is at a 91?
Pretty crazy that RVD is higher than Bret the Hitman Hart. Shouldn't be at a 91 either. He should be higher. Like, a lot of these people should be way fucking higher.
They're
Shawn
legends.
Michaels at an
literally
88 is
legends.
insane. I can't get over that, bro.
Well, this one for me may be the most this one may be the most insane. Do you want to know who else RVD? Again, this is not a dig at RVD. We love RVD, but he shouldn't be higher than some of these people. And he definitely should not be higher than this person. Bruno
It's Triple H.
Sammartino. Bruno
Oh,
Sammartino is at a 91. That's insane. That is insane to me.
Dude, he had the title for like 12 years.
Bro, the WWE was built off of his fucking back. They put him at a 91. If anyone is gonna be 100, I feel like it should be him. Like, and they put him at a
the
fucking
title
91.
He held the title for 12 years.
That one's insane.
Can you imagine them just like, that makes me laugh every time I think about it, bro. Him holding the title for 12 years, bro.
Yeah,
Can you imagine if John Cena just held the title his entire career? That's literally what it would be. Or if Roman Reigns has just been champion since he won the Royal Rumble for the first time. Like,
yeah. It's I don't know what they were thinking.
Can you imagine
Fucking
if Roman
insane.
Reigns in 2015 won the Royal Rumble, won the title, and his reign had not ended? It was still going on right now.
I don't even.
And then I told you, we had 4 years left.
That's insane.
Like, what the fuck?
I don't know what they were thinking.
How did that not get stale, bro?
I mean,
I'm sure it was.
It was a different time. for sure.
Anyway,
So,
that's fucking crazy. I
what
love
do you
RVD. That shit is insane, though.
what do you think Triple H is at?
Um, Give me a 94.
Triple H is at a 93.
Word. I was gonna
Not
argue
too not too
he should
bad.
be at like a 95. Shawn Michaels at an 88 is fucking insane. He like
Yeah.
can't like.
And Hulk Hogan 94.
Yeah, way too high. Hulk Hogan
And then
sucks.
yeah.
Hulk
I mean,
Hogan, dude. Hulk Hogan couldn't cut a promo against me.
that's
That's a
that's a
fact.
fact. That's a fact. The guy's
That's
finisher was a leg drop. Like, what are we doing? It was a fucking leg drop.
Hulk Hogan is the worst, bro. I hate
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan, bro. Like I dead ass. I would love to challenge Hulk Hogan to a promo battle. He would not be able to touch me, bro. I would
That's a fact.
embarrass that
That's
man
a
on the
fact of life.
microphone.
And I'll say this.
There's a lot of wrestlers I would love to get into a promo battle with because I know I would ruin them. That's how
And
confident I am.
Hulk Hogan can't come on the pod.
One of
We'll
them.
never let
One
him.
of them.
We'll never let him on the pod.
We could trick him and then just talk about how shitty he is.
Could you
We could
imagine?
just be like, hey, dude, we'll trick him into the podcast. And just be like, yo, dude, remember that time you said the N word? We didn't. Yeah, we still remember. I don't know if you forgot.
We didn't forget at all.
One of
and
many
then
reasons to not like Hulk Hogan.
so Stone Cold and The Rock are both at a 96. I think Stone Cold at a 96 is too low.
Probably. I don't hate it, I guess, comparatively to where other people are. I don't
I
think
think
that
he should
those.
be like a 97 or 98.
I don't think that Stone Cold and The Rock should be the two highest rated wrestlers in the game besides
Lesnar and Roman.
bro, Lesnar and Roman. I forgot about fucking Lesnar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lesnar at a 97 is pretty crazy. It really probably should go Roman, Taker, and then Cena. That's probably like as the top 3 ranked people.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even be mad at Cena being ranked above Taker, but I also wouldn't be mad with Taker being ranked above Cena. It's like that could go either way. Just because he's the Undertaker. It's literally been a main event talent across. Try to think of another main event level talent that has wrestled in WWE as the same exact character over 4 different decades.
Yeah, he's truly one of a kind. Like, I don't know if people quite understand like how
80s,
insane
90s,
Taker
2000s,
was.
and 2010s. Taker has he main evented WrestleMania in all of those time periods? He might have.
Probably.
Like, it's insane.
I'd be surprised if he didn't. He had to, bro. The streak.
Yeah, Batista and Taker at Mania 23. Was that the main event? Or was it Cena versus Shawn Michaels?
Could not tell you.
Got you. It's okay.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. So let's move on. Speaking of WrestleMania, let's move on to WrestleMania 39. So right now, we talked about it last week. Brock Lesnar is taking on Omos. They signed the contract. It's official. Now, there are conflicting reports on whether or not this was a Vince McMahon decision. At first, there were reports that came out that said this was Vince McMahon's idea. Like, this is the match that he wanted, and that's why they did it. And then since that, other reports came out that Vince has no say in creative at all. Now, Brock Lesnar, this is insane to me. Brock Lesnar reportedly turns down facing Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania per Wrestling Observer newsletter.
Maybe he doesn't want to lose.
I don't know. That's just like...
That's weird, though, that he turned that
weird.
down.
It is very weird. Bro, he probably saw the fucking Pitch Black match. And I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, he was like, I'm good off that.
But it's just the thing that's weird to me is like...
I can't blame him.
I mean...
If that's what he's going off of, if his like only thing is like, watch the pitch black match, and then they're like, "Yo, you got this guy next." Like, I can understand just being
I
like,
was like, no, I don't.
I could probably understand just being like, "Yeah, I'm good." That is weird that he turned that down, though. With that being said, I don't know if I'm the only person that feels like I don't know where everybody else's head is at. Um, and while Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar is probably the bigger money match for sure, I think that draws a little more heads. Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar. Um, I am really excited for Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley. And it's like we just haven't had like it's new, man. It's new.
Yeah.
It's like it's fresh. Is these are two guys that I don't know for a long time. Like I'm not saying that it's necessarily like a dream match sort of thing because this isn't the match where you're sitting around with your friends talking about like matches that you think like matches that you would really love to see, like dream match scenarios. But this is to me like this one of them type of matches that me and Mark are sitting around and we're just like me and Mark constantly we're throwing out like booking ideas and just random stuff. It's what we love to talk about. And this has it like this really reminds me of the type of match where one of us would be like, "What about Bray versus Bobby Lashley?" And we'd be like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, I like that."
Yeah.
So
It it's
it
like
gives me it's
it's like
fresh, it's new.
yeah. It's and
Bobby's
that's
been
what
doing some of his best work too. So
I feel like they've been doing a good job at that with when Bray returned because immediately faced off against LA Knight, which I thought was awesome. Like that was just someone I didn't really think that they were gonna have him face. And it turned
yeah,
out, besides the pitch black match being odd, the whole feud has been was really good. So I think like him going up against these titans, these big massive dudes, still like top tier stars in WWE. It's nice to see, and like you said, it's something that like I never thought that we would see, like Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley. And I'm pretty excited for it because I think it
yeah,
could be a lot of fun. And thus far, it has been a lot of fun. And so the thing that's been like the conspiracy that's been going around surrounding why Bray chose Bobby, because that was the question, like why did he choose these two? And after his the Firefly Funhouse segment on Monday Night Raw, um a lot of people are saying like it's Bray Wyatt is trying to take down like the perfect wrestler, the big muscle guys that Vince McMahon like
yeah,
idolized. And so that's why, and there was like things in it with like do the muscle man dance and like that sort of
yeah.
thing. So like
Oh
that's
yeah, that's true.
and it makes sense because
I
like
was gonna say
fucking Vince
Bobby
is
Lashley
such
is
a
actually
victim.
probably the one guy that Bobby Lashley's a little too tan for Vince McMahon's liking as a world champ, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I mean,
Got a little too much color, if you know what I mean.
yeah. Which is crazy that
Vince McMahon,
they've only had a handful of African American champions. So
bro, like it's fucking crazy, honestly,
they've only what
that
like
they
four or
haven't had
five.
more. Bro, and Kofi was like wasn't Kofi like this third?
Yeah.
He was only the second WWE champion, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he was the first 100% black WWE champion, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
that's the whole thing is insane. And I
Um,
think they all came, like, within the past, like, 15 or
oh
20
yeah,
years too, like,
yeah.
it's
I mean,
insane.
Bobby, Biggie, and Kofi all won recently, and that was
Yeah,
just like huge right there.
yeah,
Um, but anyway, we don't have to talk about Vince McMahon being an old fucking wrinkly white dude
yeah,
and
bro,
fucking
fuck you,
hating.
Vince.
Fuck Vince McMahon. I
You're not
challenge Vince
welcome on the
McMahon to
podcast.
Mania. Nah, I mean, low key, I would interview Vince if Vince wants to come on.
Yeah, we'd fucking put him in a blender.
Be like, how you doing, Mr. McMahon? So, let me tell you. Um, where do you rank the heel move of coming back to the company just to take it away from your children and attempt to sell it to the Saudi Arabians? Where would you rank that in the history of heel moves.
That would be the shortest interview ever.
Yeah.
Oh,
It'd be like,
God damn it.
because,
I'm out of here. Get this thing
yeah,
off. How do you turn this thing off?
because I think that might be one of the biggest heel moves of all time. Anyway,
I'd
let's
say
move on.
so.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm rambling.
So I'll say this. How do you feel about Brock Lesnar taking on Omos at Mania?
Yeah, let's go back to that. Dude, as much as I'm a people person, I don't like to hurt people's feelings unless I think they deserve it. That's why I think and there's a lot of, and generally I'd like to think that the public usually agrees with me. The public usually agrees with me when I think they deserve it, such as I was being a little rude to Hulk Hogan, for example. Vince McMahon, I was just being a bit rude to.
Goldberg.
Goldberg. These are all guys that I think deserve it. And I think we could
Agreed.
all agree deserve it. And Omos probably doesn't deserve what I'm about to say. I'm
Good
sure
boy.
he's a good guy. But I have zero excitement in my entire fucking body to see Omos wrestle at WrestleMania. Really do. I apologize to Omos. I'm sure he is a great guy. I just, dude, I can't get behind it. I can't. Like, it's just like, I'm gonna watch it, and I'm not saying I'm like pissed. Like, I don't know. I'm not even like pissed off that it's happening. I'm just like, it just seems like a waste of a match to me. And it's nobody really wants to see it. I mean, and I think Brock's probably gonna go over pretty quickly.
So I'll say this. At first, I was very annoyed as to why are they doing this. And I still think there's a small chance that this could be a swerve and Omos may not be the person. It's a small chance, but I think there's still a chance. However, in the days following the announcement, since it was officially made official, they signed a contract, I don't mind it. And here's why. Brock has been losing a lot lately. So obviously at Mania, he's gonna have to win. Coming off the loss to Bobby, technically, to Roman, he needs to win. And if you put him up against Bray, like whoever he's gonna face, he's gonna win. And I don't want him to beat Bray because I understand the legend of Brock Lesnar, but I've never been a big fan of him. And so I'd prefer, I don't want him to beat Bray because they need to build up Bray back because they really just destroyed him. So that's why I'm not necessarily upset that he's facing Omos because he's going to win. I don't know. I thought him and Bray could have been a lot of fun. Cowboy Brock taking on Bray Wyatt. That could have been a really fun feud. But I think Brock would have won, and that would have hurt Bray Wyatt. And so that's why I'm not mad at him facing Omos because he's going to beat Omos, and we could get some cool moments in the match. Him F5ing Omos is going to be pretty sweet, but I don't think it's going to. I mean, it could go at 10 minutes maybe. I think Omos is probably going to surprise people with his in-ring ability because we already saw him against Braun.
Yeah, no,
a few months
he's
ago.
sneaky. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's not even a dig on Omos. I hate to say that. Like, he's sneaky athletic for his size.
I think they just need to let him wrestle, just because I feel like with the big guys, they're just like, you're big, you can only do these certain things. But if you just let him kind of wrestle, let him do what he wants to do. I think this could be a better match than people will give it credit. And so that's why I'm not completely mad at it right now, because I think Lesnar needs to win. I don't want him to beat any of the other top stars, really. And I think they could give us a lot of good moments in the ring. Plus, they had a good segment with Brock and MVP on Monday Night Raw also. So
yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I'm not necessarily I'm just not super excited about it. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily mad about it. I'm just not really that excited about it.
yeah,
I think that you could say. And like I said, it could go either way. I think an interesting take would be if Bray and Bobby happens on Saturday and Brock and Omos is Sunday, and whatever Bray, like Bobby's match is already over, and then we have a Hurt Business reunion at WrestleMania to give Omos the win or something like that. And but it's like with the reuniting of the Hurt Business this time with Omos in the Hurt Business. And I think so then you have Bobby, all the Hurt Business guys. I think that would be very, very fun. I think that would get a huge pop if the Hurt Business came out and then it was just like MVP's already ringside, but then you see Bobby and he just like looks back on each shoulder and Shelton and Cedric come back like each like a second after they grab him, and then they start walking down to the ring fucking to be with their dude Omos, who's their guy. Like, dude, that would be good. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Imagine how much cooler Omos would be if he was like the big dude of this baller ass fucking group.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's just like they don't let the big guys have personality enough, man.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like that's what I'm saying. Like, look what like I don't know, like look when you let people get into this group, that they're like MVP has talked about it. Like the reason the Hurt Business works so well was because it was a genuine, friendship that formed into what it was between the guys in it. And like I feel like we see that with Judgment Day. Like Rhea Ripley, Judgment Day, they're baller. It's a baller ass fucking group. And why not have some more with the Hurt Business? Everyone was upset that they separated anyway. And they want to go faction heavy moving forward, apparently is what I hear. They want to, they want to get a little bit more involved with the faction. So, do it.
Yeah. I think they will, because we see like MVPs with Omos, but then he's also with Benjamin and Alexander. But they're not like united. Like they're not sort of like one thing yet. So I think Bobby's going to come back and sort of be the thing that brings the Hurt Business back together. And like you said, Omos being in the Hurt Business would be sick. Like that would be
awesome.
It'd
be
awesome.
Way better than just MVP walking around and talking for him. Like,
yeah,
it would be awesome. Like,
yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not even a dig on Omos. Like Omos honestly has done nothing but exceed my expectations for everything that he's given me. So I have no reason to like a dig. Like it's really not a dig. I just like yeah, sorry. I don't know where I'm going with that, but
and because I mean it's just like you said, like Omos's thing is just being big. Like the way they shoot him with like the camera angles is just to show off how massive he is. He always just like holds his hand up so you see how big it is. Like just stop. Like let's just not have his thing be that he's big. Obviously he's big. Everyone knows he's fucking big.
Yeah, no, that's essentially where I'm getting at with it too. Like being visible, like you don't have to walk around when you're that big. You don't have to walk around and tell everybody you're that big.
Yeah,
because it's pretty obvious that you're that big. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, so let's move on to the women's tag team title picture. We had a big switch in champions on Monday Night Raw. Becky Lynch and Lita defeated Damage Control to win the women's tag team championships with the help of Trish Stratus, sort of evening the playing field, taking out Bayley. I know I was initially annoyed that they did this. I know you were more sort of okay with it. I think I was annoyed because I just feel like they're going to lose the titles at Mania. And
they're gonna, for sure.
The biggest, like, as good as Triple H has been since taking over, the biggest flaw still remains the women's tag team championships. And again, it's just they have these weird short reigns. And then if someone holds the title for more than a month, they don't really do anything with them. And I don't think they're like Becky and Lita are going to do anything with them at all. And I think they're going to lose them at Mania, thus just it being a little 1 month reign. Now you could make the argument, which is true, that they don't have that many women's tag teams, but they have a ton of really talented women's wrestlers, and I think they should just start pairing them up instead of just having them sit and not do anything. Like we saw Carmella and Chelsea Green may become a tag team. We saw them have a good interaction on Monday Night Raw. I
That would
think
be a
they
fun
could
team.
be, yeah,
Yeah.
they would be a really fun team. And I think there's a ton of women on the side, like Xia Li, Natalia. You've got Ronda and Shayna. Like they have enough women to have a talented women's tag team division. They just need to put the effort in to actually do it and not have the tag
Okay.
titles just be a prop.
Yeah, totally. I agree. And like, I guess my main argument of being like, I was okay with what happened is I guess I'm giving Triple H the benefit of the doubt, and we'll see how it ends up turning out. And I could be completely wrong. And if I am wrong, then you know what I mean? I'll eat my words and I'll be like, oh yeah, that what I thought was gonna happen did not fucking happen, and it was stupid. And it was what you said, where they just aren't making proper decisions and they're kind of just jumping it around. But I said I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt in with the idea that like this is the first step in a long-term improvement for the WWE Women's Tag Team championship picture and the tag team championship division, or the tag team division, the women's tag team division. Because putting the belts, Damage Control have been holding the titles for a while now, and they don't really defend them, and they had definitely got to the point where they were props again. And that's definitely not what we want. Like they were just the tag team that was on TV the most, so they had the women's titles. Like that's pretty much what it's been. It's like whatever women's team is on TV the most, let's give them the women's titles. But I think, you know, having them lose to someone like Becky and Lita, it made for a big moment on Raw in the build up to WrestleMania that I think will get some people a little bit more interested in the women's tag team division. But like I said, I think if this is, like I said, hopefully the beginning of, you know, a better future for the women's tag team championships, then putting the titles on a team of Becky and Lita really isn't that bad of an idea. I mean, they're two of the most over women in WWE history, and between the two of them, they have like over 10 title reigns. Becky Lynch has won a Royal Rumble. She main evented WrestleMania. Lita's a Hall of Famer. Like they are definitely like they can establish these titles if done well. You know what I mean? I think that they are some people, and I think the victory of a title change at WrestleMania, then like whoever gets the women's tag team titles at WrestleMania off of Becky and Lita, I think it'll make the victory mean a little more that it's coming off of Becky and Lita rather than Damage Control if the titles were to change. And I just think that this is going to be the beginning of hopefully something better for the tag team division moving forward. And I might eat my words, and this might just be like they didn't want to make another tag team. Basically, they were just like, oh, Becky and Lita would be fun, instead of like actually having proper women's tag teams. But like I said, I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt that Triple H was like, all right, I want to figure out what we're doing with these women's tag team titles. I kind of want to establish a better division. And he's like, this is our plan. He's like, Becky and Lita are they're gonna win the titles. That way, like they're really like respected, established. They'll be like our kind of like first champions of this like new era that we're kind of trying to push. And then at Mania, they decide exactly what direction they want to go, and hopefully, that leads to, in my opinion, the ideal match would be Becky and Lita versus Io and Dakota versus Shayna and Ronda in a triple threat for the women's tag team titles.
my thing is like, I like, I think you can have Becky and Lita sort of like be the front runners for this new era for the women's tag team titles, but I don't think they can do that in a month. And I think I would be surprised unless they do um Becky, Lita, and Trish against Damage Control, a little 3-on-3 at Mania, then that would be the only way that they hold the titles past Mania. Because I think that
Yeah.
there's a really good shot that they lose them at Mania. But
Yeah,
I
for
like,
sure. I mean, you can't expect Lita to be around too long term.
yeah. And
So
I just think like just building the titles, it's like for me at least, it doesn't seem like super hard. You need long title reigns, you need good promos, you need people actually wanting the titles and not just like wanting to face the person and the title just happens to be on them. And like I think that's something that they can do in a month, but I think like they just need to have Becky and Lita cut promos every week on Raw just talking about how much them teaming together means to them and how they want to defend these titles. Like I think they're going to need to cut some promos. I just don't know like how much Lita is going to be on television leading up to WrestleMania, but I completely agree. I think that my ideal match would be the triple threat for the tag titles because I think that would really do a lot for the women's tag titles. Just having the three teams really battle it out just to win, to prove who wants the tag titles more. And honestly, this may be like a hot take, but I would have Ronda, and Shayna win.
totally, I'm with you there, man. I'm with you.
I know a lot of people hate on them, but like they make the most sense as a tag team. I think they would be a fun tag team together. And honestly, I like Shayna Baszler more than I like Ronda Rousey. I think Shayna Baszler gets way too much hate.
Shayna does get way too much hate. It's kind of crazy, honestly.
Yeah, and like I think they would work really well as a tag team. And just don't let Ronda talk. Let Shayna do all the talking because Ronda
Yeah.
cannot cut a promo to save her life. But what do you think is more likely? Do you think that we're gonna get like Damage Control against Becky and Lita for the tag titles? Do you think we're gonna get Damage Control against Becky and Lita versus Ronda and Shayna? Do you think we're gonna get um Damage Control against just like Becky and Lita, and then we get Bailey and Trish? Do you think it's the 3-on-3? Like, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen at Mania?
So I think the best idea would be the triple threat for the women's tag team titles, and then Trish versus Bailey singles match.
I agree.
I think that's what makes the most sense. And I'm kind of scared that Io and Dakota are gonna not be on the WrestleMania card now, and they're gonna do um, which I really which I really and Dakota deserve to be on the. I do think that that's gonna set up into two different matches, considering the women's tag team titles are in there, so I do think we're gonna get a tag team title match, and I really think we're gonna get Trish versus Bailey, and I think that would be awesome.
I do too. I think Bailey deserves it, and I think it would be a
Bailey
big
does
moment
deserve
for
it.
her.
Yeah, it would be a huge moment for her, and she does deserve it for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, ideally, give me Bailey versus Trish, and then give me Damage Control against Becky and Lita, against Ronda and Shayna, and put the
Yeah.
titles on Ronda and Shayna. I don't give a fuck what anyone.
Dude, I'm honestly completely cool with putting the titles on Ronda and Shayna, and then breaking up Damage Control.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why they would do it. Like,
Yeah.
I like Damage Control, but obviously they're not doing anything with them as a tag team. So let them wrestle in singles matches and let
Bro,
them just,
and then adding Dakota and Io to the women's division like singles wise, it just
and they
makes
can
it
still have them be. Well, I think they could still have them be Damage Control, but like just have them go off on their own, sort of like.
Oh yeah,
in,
all as
something
singles competitors. Yeah, I
in
like
like
that.
PCC, like because that's the thing we talked about before. Just to like, you don't need to break up a faction to give someone a singles run. Like it's the same thing with like the Street Profits. Like they don't technically need to break up the Street Profits to push Montez forward. I think they should because I think it would be better. But they don't
Yeah.
like necessarily have to. Like you can have teams still be teams, but have them sort of go off and do their own thing. And because we've seen that it works with Blackpool Combat Club, that's the perfect example of it. So that's going to wrap it up. It's WrestleMania season. We're about a month away until Mania. There's only a handful of matches that are officially official for WrestleMania 39. So it's going to be interesting to see where the road to WrestleMania takes us. By the time you are listening to this, you just had Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns meet face to face. We're getting that tonight, so I'm super pumped for it. I'm sure
Super
it's
pumped.
as amazing as I'm expecting it's going to be. So drop a comment. Let us know what you thought about that promo battle between them on Friday Night SmackDown, because I'm super pumped for it. Also, I go live AEW Dynamite, Friday Night SmackDown, 30 minutes before the show. I go live and I talk about the card. I go live and I talk about the card. I go live on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So make sure to follow us on all of that. You can follow us on Twitter at The Burnt Hammer. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at The Burning Hammer. You can follow us on Twitch at The Burning Hammer Podcast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. We are also available wherever you listen to podcasts. So make sure to leave us a review and follow and subscribe. You can follow Dillon on Twitter at Dill_O'Brien_wave. You can follow me on Twitter at MarkIzzo_wave. That is the best way to get our initial and immediate reactions to anything and everything in the world of professional wrestling. Also, follow Vendetta Sports Media on their socials. You can follow them on Twitter at VendettaVSM. You can follow them on Instagram and TikTok at Vendetta Sports Media. And make sure to go to vendettasportsmedia.com for all of your sports needs. If you like a sport, they cover it. They cover TV, movies, and gaming as well. So head over to vendettasportsmedia.com for all of your sports needs. That's going to wrap up the episode. I'm Mark Izzo. He's Dillon O'Brien. And this has been another episode of the Burning Hammer Podcast. Catch you next week.